And it is February 23rd of 2024.
Hey,
And my
it's not
phone,
February.
oh, nope, it's May. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. And of course, that's the only time I want to speak on the record. All right, let's start over with May 23rd, 2024. We're with the Westminster Historic District Commission. We're doing a Zoom call, partly because today's topics are very limited to just garages. That's all we're doing today. It's a special meeting called in order to accommodate a specific schedule for one of our projects. So we can do that. We can have special meetings. We're going to call ourselves to order with the statement of authority. The Westminster Historic District Commission derives its authority from Chapter 164, Article 9A of the City Code, which is authorized by the Maryland Code Annotated Land Use Article, Division 1, Single Jurisdiction Planning and Zoning, Title 8, Historic Preservation. The qualifications of the Westminster Historic District Commission are on file at the City Administration Building, 45 West Main Street. The file is open to the public. And I'm acting as chair today, Chris McMasters. On the line, we have Kathy Beatty, member, Chris Amaduri, vice chair. We have, who else is on the line?
Grace.
Grace. Kelly is online as a member, and we also have city staff. Did I miss anybody?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Good.
You missed the guests.
Oh, we do have guests. The guest is actually going to speak next for our new business item A, structural report, reviewed of 58 West Main Street, a detached garage demolition proposal with the document included in the agenda. Mr. Camlin, would you like to say anything?
Yes, I don't easily have access to the report here. So is that something that, Melissa, that you can share?
Yes, I
So
can.
that I know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And if you want, I have just a couple paragraphs I can do a quick overview and you can add in.
I'm
Certainly.
sorry, I usually ask the staff first. I'm so sorry, please.
That's okay. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is pull up here I'm going to share a PowerPoint. Let's see. Let's do slide. Here we go. Share. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay. John Yingling of Crawford Yingling Insurance at 58 West Main Street has applied for a demolition permit on March 19th, 2024, or that's the date the city received that, with plans to remove the existing 4-bay outbuilding near the rear of the property at Winter Street and erect a new building of the same size with the proper setback. The one-story building is approximately 20 feet by 40 feet. And as you can see here, it is right on the edge of the property line. And the proper setback is actually, I believe, 10 feet, which is the proposed additional building. So on March 1st, Chair Kristen McMasters and myself went on a site visit to view the structure and speak with Mr. Yingling. We shared about tax credit program, as well as the process for demolitions within the historic district. Working with Dean Camlin of Dean Robert Camlin and Associates, a structural report was presented to the city via email on April 29th. The property is zoned CB, Central Business Zone, and located within this historic district. The property is listed on the Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties with car number 429, known as the Hare House. The entire block was rebuilt after a fire in April of 1883. The outbuilding shows up in the Sanborn maps in 1927, but not sooner. And there's no mention of the outbuilding in the car report. The historic, not to be confused with the structural report, the car report presented in the late 1970s. The historic structures report was written upon receipt of the required documentation for all structures for consideration for demolition permits, which is a checklist provided by city staff. Our staff recommends that the commission consider acceptance of the structural report for 58 West Main Street. And I breezed through that quickly just to show here is the location of the proposed project. The star right at the rear at Winter Street. You can see the corner of John Street and West Main Street here. This is the block we're looking at. This is just a plot of the structure in the back. You can see a black outline where the new structure is proposed. And here's a few pictures that I took right from the structures report. So you can see there is damage on the foundation of the building, and here's an interior view. And here's some suggested draft motions. Now I can pull this up later. Mr. Camlin, would you like me to pull up the structures report? And do you have any other things to add?
Thank you, Melissa. I think that was a good synopsis of what we have. And rather than, going through the report item by item, maybe I should ask if everyone's had a chance to read it and if there are any questions.
I was curious, there's nothing in there about when Yingling acquired that property. Was the damage there when they acquired it, or did it occur while they've owned the property?
Can you hear me? Can the commission?
Yes, John.
My family acquired that property in 1960 from the Herr family, Herr. I purchased the property from my family in 1992, and that structure was on that property at that time.
Was the foundation already damaged at that time, or we don't know when that damage occurred?
I don't know when that damage occurred. Apparently a car hit it or a truck hit it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions of the report as submitted?
I just have one. I mean, it's my only one question or comment is that it's a historic structures report, and so Dean, that's like you found all the history on that structure that you could find.
Yes, indeed, Chris.
All right, so do we have a motion from anyone to approve the structural report or to deny the structural report or have an alternate motion?
I move that the Historic District Commission approves the report as written.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Grace. All right. Any last opportunities for comment before we take a vote?
The only thing I would suggest is that I would like to see, the report has just have a little more history about the structure. I know it's not a very big structure, but maybe just a little more since it's going to be demoed. So, but that's it.
All right. So the motion is number one, I move that the Historic District Commission approves the structural report for 58 West Main Street.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Grace.
Aye. Sorry, I have you on mute.
I thought I saw that eye, but I thought maybe she's holding out for
Aye.
a nay. All right. So it sounds like we have a consensus, and I want to thank Dean and the city staff for their work on this. Or anything else city staff needs to know?
I do want to make a comment about so this is one step in the process for the demolition of the structure. The next step, I guess, for the property would be to apply for the building permit for the new structure and send us an updated copy of the plans for said structure and possibly come back to this meeting to discuss the look of the building. I know included in the structures report is an architectural rendering, but if you have anything with color, that should be the next step.
Just keep in mind, whatever replaces the historic structure has to be as good or better, right? So, you know, we want historic structures that have a solid situation to be, you know, solid, not a Rubbermaid situation. So,
And I understand also that a simplified site plan will be necessary as part of the building permit process.
That's correct, yes.
May I ask if the report that you have in front of you from Mr. Lieberman, John Lieberman, of RTF Associates, is that acceptable, or do you need a better report?
I have no report from RT Lieberman.
Okay.
Director Depot, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm sorry, can I find my mute button?
That's okay.
I think it's a beginning step. There's a lot of notes and other elements that need to be provided. It has to show landscaping as well as parking on the site, which this is not showing. So there are things, they can certainly submit it as a simplified site plan for comment, but there are elements that need to be added.
So, John Yingling here. So you want Mr. Lieberman to do another report?
If he wants to submit this, what was provided with the application for simplified site plan, he can. We'll just provide comments to it as to what needs to be updated or added to the site plan.
John Limmerman knows, he's done other simplified site plans for the city, so he knows what's required for that.
Okay, thank you.
Your RTF, there's certain notes. They have a template they've used in the past. If they just follow that general template with the same notes and same information with the data that he's already provided, the survey work, that should be fine for the submission for simplified site plan.
A further question, when I get that, and if this is new to me, obviously, and if it's approved by the city, then it goes to the county, obviously, I guess. Is that how the process works?
The site plan would have to be approved by the city for the city to sign off on the building permit. You can submit the building permit at any time for county review and approval. They may have all their agencies that sign off and approve it, but cities would be the last sign off. So once we approve the simplified site plan, we would sign off on that building permit as well.
Got it. Yeah, that's
so
what
you can do everything simultaneously. Submit the building permit to the county and the simplified site plan to the city.
Okay, thank you.
Essentially, our review is over though with Mr. Camlin's submission today.
Yes, for the demolition, we will bring back the architecture at the next available meeting for discussion.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time, everyone, with 58 West Main. If you'd like to stay for 86 West Green, it's a very interesting report. You might have some interest in it since we're specializing in garages today. You're invited to stay, of course. All right, let's go on to item B. If there are no more questions. All right, hearing none. Item B, structural report of 86 West Green Street. This is an attached garage demolition proposal. And Melissa, do you have an overview for us?
I sure do. Thank you. So we have, as you can see here, a nice photograph of our structure on 86 West Green. President of our council, Gregory Pecoraro, owner at 86 West Green Street residents, and Christine Amaduri, vice chair of the Historic District Commission, intend to demolish this attached garage to prevent the possibility of the floor caving in and mitigating further damage to the wall of their main house due to structural issues with the garage. The demolition permit was applied for, ironically, on the same day. That's when we received both of these garage permits, demolition requests on March 19th, to remove the existing attached brick garage to the northwest of the property. And their intent, again, is to repair the west-facing brick wall of the main residence. Chair Kristen McMasters went on a site visit to the home in April to view the structure and speak with the owner about the Historic District Tax Credit Program, as well as the process for demolitions. Working with their own research and documentation, the structural report was presented to city staff on the outbuilding via email on May 10th. The property is zoned R10,000 and located within the Westminster Historic District, but is not listed on the Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties. Again, this report was written upon receipt of the required documentation checklist provided by city staff for all structures in consideration for the demolition permits. We have, again, I'm recommending that the commission consider acceptance of the structural report for 86 West Green Street. And here is the location. Oh, let me get it working correctly. Of the proposed project. We've got the section in between of Green Street in between Maryland Avenue and New Windsor Road. These pictures also came from the structural report. You can see the close-ups of the garage from all angles, as well as the interior of the garage. And really neat coal chute sorts of history here. But the view of the basement on the right side here, and you can see the roof line there, or where the ceiling height is right on the window. There's a close-up view showing the sag of the cement ceiling. And I will refer to the owners for questions if you all would like to add anything.
I'm muted, sorry. I just want to toss in real quick that this homeowner did not have the benefit of a CARR individual report, even though they are in the historic district. It wasn't written for this property, and you'll see why as they get into it. So I'm going to mute myself and ask Christine, would you like to tell us a little bit about your work kind of at a disadvantage?
Yeah, Melissa, could you pull the report up, like the historical? So basically what I did is, unfortunately, we don't want the side of the house to cave in, and there's really no way to repair it. And two contractors and the house inspector said that we should not park a car or even something like a riding mower in there. And if you look at the photos closely, you can see the crack on the floor of the garage where the coal chute was, and you can see how it's compromised, and you can also see the sag in the basement floor, where I guess it's the north side of the ceiling in the basement is resting just on a wooden window frame. That's it. So it's starting to compromise the side of the house. So before it collapses, unfortunately, and we're not going to rebuild anything. So I don't know if Mr. Pecoraro has any comments about this.
I don't, just sorry that we have to do this, but as Chris said, we don't want the side of the house coming off. So we need to take this down, and as there's really not a lot of space there. We're right up against the adjoining property, so we don't plan to rebuild anything there.
So Chris, could you step us through the historic findings you had?
Yeah. Melissa, could you pull that up like from the start? So what I decided to do is I just did research on the house. And I went through as many um, um, resources as I could. So I did not have the benefit again of the CAR report. I used I researched deeds. I researched photographs. I went to the Historical Society, checked out the Sanborn fire insurance maps. You can see the list of the federal census. And even for up until 1950, it wasn't until 1950 till 86 West Green Street was actually listed. So, I used reference books for historic architecture to try to date when the house was built. So I'm still working on it because I'm really interested to find out, exactly when this house was built. I found some mentions of, John Cunningham, who owned the property or owned Cunningham's addition, building the house probably next to our house. So like, I'm piecing it together, but so I did what I could. And I also found like the interesting postcard. So the postcard on Green Street also, and the postmark in the back is 1939. And you can see, like, I was able to count on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4 houses I can identify now. But then between that last house that's white and then the one with sort of like the green roof, I think that's where the house is supposed to be. So I don't know. I mean, it just, I tried to exhaust all resources for this report. So.
Can
You
you
can
tell
see
me
the
a little bit about the plat map of Cunningham's addition? It's sort of hard to read, to be honest.
So yes, if you go the plat map, well, so that's I think it was, okay, it says plat map 1924. So so what I was able to confirm I'm pretty sure is that our lot is lot number 8. There's a lot number 8 there, but a lot of these houses weren't built in 1924. So, or at that point, they were built a little after that. And you can see that Doyle Avenue, I mean, even the name changed there. So that's the plat map, but even on the Sanborn map, you can see that the house doesn't exist. And this is from 1927. So you can see that the house doesn't exist. Unfortunately, and I made a note in the report that the Library of Congress had a map that was from 1927 that was updated to 1959, but pages 12 and 13, which this section of Green Street is located on, they can't find it. So like, it just seems to, we keep going down rabbit holes. So, so I've had a lot of history around it, and I've been closing in on the date. So, in the history of the house.
So in summary, what is your best guess at this time?
So I believe in the report because of all the resources that I looked at and the historical architectural details, the structure. I put it between 1935 and 1940. That's my best guess using resources. So somebody that has more expertise in historic architecture, do that. So
that kind of coincides with when coal chutes were in use. Probably a little bit. That's about right. All right. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the family? They've got their family hat on. No from Grace?
Nope.
No from Kathy? Okay. So what would the city like us to chime in on? Here's our draft motions for structural approval, for denial, or an alternative motion. Do I hear a motion from Grace or Kathy?
I move that we accept it.
And from Grace, do we have a second? There must be a mute on.
He's muted.
Sorry, my phone's not communicating with me. I second.
All right. And Grace and Kathy, do you have any further questions? Anything specific?
No, she did. I think she did a great job with the research.
Yes.
Great. I have to say that this report has challenged me to think about updating our documentation for considering demolition permits, because there's more resources here than I considered in our initial documentation. And I also think it'd be easy to have a checklist so that things are just checked as they're checked. So I want to thank you, Chris, for challenging me that way too. All right, are we ready for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Grace, do I have an aye? She's saying aye, she's just muted. Her phone's going sideways. I'm going to take that as a yes, Miss Grace.
Yes. Yes, sorry. We've got stuff going on in the office, so I'm trying, sorry.
I know this was meant to be easier for us all, but may not be. Okay. So this motion carries. And I want to thank Chris and Greg for all the work they put in onto this application. Of course, like any historic fabric, I mourn the loss of anything historic, but again, case seems to have been made that basement is bowing and it is a danger and a hazard to the rest of the historic structure. And we do want to do our best to save what is there. Does the family have any questions about process with the city staff?
Nope.
Nope. All right, then I'll refrain from anything because we've done our job at this point. And we know that you mentioned in the report, you're going to fill it with a specific kind of material. So you don't have to actually do much deep demo more than a foot below grade, which is nice for the archaeology because that actually gets sealed in archaeologically. So
what the contractor we talked to, what they're going to do is take a lot of, when they demo it, they're going to take a lot of the material and then they're going to add stone. It's like number 57 stone or something like that, which so when they to fill in the rest of it, so the weight of this stone goes vertically, not horizontally, so it doesn't bow the structure. So this is what they use for fill like this, so it goes straight down and it doesn't the wall, because they have to fill the basement. I mean, the problem is there's a basement. That's the problem. So
all righty. Well, you know, just as an interest, I'm always interested in how this will proceed and how it works out. And of course, it'll be years till you figure out, you know, if the structure is again stable. So that'll be good to know. All right, thank you. So we move on to item C, a date for our next meeting. What I'm assuming is, Melissa, the issue is 4th of July.
So I guess the question is, the next meeting will be held June 5th. And was there a desire to keep that regularly scheduled meeting date or to take a look at the July 3rd day and possibly reschedule that one if there was a desire for that?
To be honest, I understood from our notices to our commissioners that this meeting was in lieu of a June 5th meeting. How do other commissioners feel?
Is there anything else pending?
Well, we just have our regular updates on things, but you know, the 250th is just coming to be 2 years away, and the implementation of the city plan is still awaiting. So to me, I don't really see a whole lot of other things unless people have other burning things to talk about.
No, I was going to say, if something comes in and we have time to review it, I'd say, yeah, let's go for it. But if there's nothing that comes in within, like, I don't know, 72 hours of the meeting, I'd say let's skip it and wait till July, or I guess on July, I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe in July I will have had time to rework these procedures and we can think about that. You know, I'd like to make it truthfully, I'd like to make it a nice checkoff sheet for staff and the person applying so that there's like a double checkoff that they've done all the minimum stuff we've asked for.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
All right. So what day in July will we meet? Look at this, Mr. J. Hoff is calling me. And he's blocking my calendar. All right, so July 3rd would be the date, but I got a feeling people are going off for July 4th. We will
Yeah.
make it a 4-day weekend. How about July 10th? Would that work for city staff and for our commission?
It's okay.
Yep, that works.
Yeah,
July 10th?
the date's available at City Hall.
All righty. Let's plan on July 10th, and we will be so partied out from Memorial Day and the 4th of July. We'll be so patriotic. We'll be cruising into Flag Day. That's the great thing about patriotic decorations. They last all the way to,
All summer.
all the way to Labor Day.
There you go.
All right. Being nothing else on our agenda, then I think we've settled on our July 10th date and we can adjourn. Everybody who wants to agree, say goodbye. If not, let me know.
Bye.
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 Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.